with drugs now, a drug which is approved abroad needs to be having a clinical trial in India to be approved in that particular indication. So for drugs now, there is clarity. Of course, this clarity has occurred in the not too distant past. But for devices, it seems that, I mean, all devices have the CE mark here. Hardly any device has the European regulatory approval mark on the device. So,
again, to clarify, that CE mark no more qualifies to be a regulatory clearance for the country. So any device approved in their own country is still looked up slightly softly by the CDSCO, but the CDSCO always has the discretion to look at the data from the device to find.
Because I haven't seen a device with marking of CDSCO or BIS. I mean, they just don't seem to be there. Even Indian devices, they don't seem to be having the mark.
So, but there are licenses given based on the data that is submitted by the device. So in all the cases, when we say that there is a predicate device which is FDA approved, that doesn't qualify CDSCO to look it as a predicate device. If there is no predicate device in India, it is again an open device which need testing and data collection. So
the other thing was, you mentioned about the process of, you all tailing clinicians and, coming to know their problems. So is it just one clinician whose opinion matters, or when you all are planning a device, you all actually go through, talk to clinicians across the spectrum, clinicians in government setup, clinicians in practice, clinicians in corporate, their requirements might be totally different. So when you're going for, going to through the process of starting to develop a device, do you all sort of go through the entire spectrum of, because let me tell you, all these three groups of clinicians have different requirements.
Correct. So I think that's exactly what we do. So in our center, when we are looking at innovations and needs, every team has to reach to minimum 50 clinicians before even we can qualify it as an unmet need. So, and this has to be not from the same hospital, from various tier hospitals and various geographies in the country. So a need which is there in Hyderabad may or may not be a need probably in Kerala, depending upon the different in clinical care conditions. So we do look at different geographies and at least minimum 50 feedbacks from clinicians. And in fact, there would be always a difference in opinion in terms of technology adoption. So something in many times we had debates and discussions where a clinician say, no, I'm comfortable with this. There is no need there. Whatever I'm doing is good.
And the other question is, do you all manufacture a device, or do you all sort of develop devices which are for a particular niche community? I'll just give you the situation of the Armed Forces Medical Services. So let's say in a place like Ladakh, we require equipment which can withstand extreme cold temperature. You have issues of tubings freezing and becoming brittle. And unfortunately, device manufacturers are not really interested in manufacturing for this group, because it's of course not a very large market. It's just because it's only the Indian Army and a little bit of the Pakistani Army which work on such altitudes. So there isn't a very large market. So there aren't actually products being devised specifically for high altitude. Now, how do you look at that?
Yeah, so this is, I think, a very interesting problem. We had several discussions with Army teams on similar issues. I would rather take this offline, where an institute like IIT would be really interested in looking at problems specific to, say, high altitude regions or specific to low temperature problems. So we have had a lot of debates on infusion pumps which are not working in high altitude. So these are very, very highlighted problems. And even if it is a very small market, but if there is an organization driving such innovations, the technology institutes like IIT would be really interested in contributing to it. We had, for infusion pumps, I said specifically because we started with one of these problems as a need from the military.
Thank you. Starting with Jyotsna, if there are any other questions, please sit down, Dr. John.
Sir, I'll just pose my question to Praful, sir. Sir, regarding the pharmacovigilance that you spoke about, for the general knowledge of the audience as well as myself, I would just like to know, because we've had such problems before, how do we go about reporting? That is number one. Number two, we've had an issue where we had sent there was a problem, some kind of reaction that we observed in one of the drugs, and later we sent it for testing. First time the report did come positive as in the issue was noticed, but seemingly there is a rule from the government side where the vendor can represent for the first time. So once that representation was done, the second time the same report came negative. So there lies the problem. That is number one. Also, when you say we report regarding a particular drug reaction, how much time are we looking at where some action can be taken? What are the things that are to be later followed up? So those things can be highlighted, sir.
All right. So, okay. So this is a little long, I would say, debate. I'll just try to restrict it. So I'll come to first question. How do you report? So for hospitals in Pune and Kiriki complex, it's as simple as dropping a WhatsApp message to me.
You can probably tell them there is an online form available.
There's an online form available that needs to be penetrated, populated. People need to be made aware. We'll do that subsequently. For right now also, just tell me which patient, which bed number, what drug, and somebody will come and do the filing with the report part. Now, what does that reporting would lead us up to? That reporting will lead us up to something which we know as causality assessment. So you feel that the drug caused it, right? So, but it may not so happen. And it is always on a probabilistic scale. We say that we are probably the drug caused it, possibly the drug caused it, and at times we can say certainly the drug caused it. Now we do two things. First is whatever probability scale we give it, we just furnish everything to PVPI.
So there is an Uppsala scale, there's a WHO.
So traditionally we follow a WHO UMC criteria for doing this. There is an Naranja scale also which divides it into a scale of 1 to 10. The same thing.
But you're not following the Uppsala one.
So we are following WHO UMC, which is all prevalent. So now let's say it is possible. So one possible ADR will not prompt me to do anything else except reporting it to him. He may be getting it the same report from all the countryside. That's at a regulatory scale, that level. That's what they will do. But let's say I'm fairly certain that a particular batch of ringal lactate led to this side effect, and there's an algorithm, there's a decision-making process which tells it it's certain. There are certain checkpoints, right? So once it is certain, then we can at least inform the hospital to suspend the use of that batch, send the sample for FDA-approved lab, and stop the use of that batch till such time the report comes back, right? So that is one thing which we can do. So if we are alive to this problem, if we keep on sending these reports and keep on suspending the use of offending batches, that itself will improve the quality of drugs which are getting supplied. That is the lowest hanging fruit which we sort of seek out of this program, right? And what you said was true, that at times labs may give you conflicting reports. So I'll not go into that domain because that's beyond the purview of the organization. That's beyond our purview. I'll not go to the extent of saying, or maybe casting some aspersions on the functioning of some of the organization. Let's not do that. But point is that the act of sending samples. How many samples do we send today from command hospital? Very less, right? While the ADRs which are happening are more. So for every certain ADR, which comes out of a well laid out of algorithm, it's again not my whims and fancy. I have to tick certain points and then say, oh, it is certain. The moment we do it for every certain ADR, the incidence of ADR will certainly come down. Maybe the quality of the drugs which we are getting into our system will improve, right? Even if that doesn't happen, if it's just a possible thing, at least it will help the regulator at the national level will be contributing to the national database. That's one, right? And let's say there's a particular batch of drugs. It's not certain, but I get 10 ADR reports, which I classify as probable. That's an actionable signal. So signal is a term which actually is used at the PBPI level, that they see that, okay, fine, there must be something with this drug. So basically, there are two things about drugs. First is the quality, which bothers more of us. Second is that a hidden ADR in that drug, which that drug would have caused in any case, irrespective of the best quality. Drugs are known to cause side effects, right? If you give paracetamol beyond a dose, it will lead to hepatic failure. We know this, right? So उस case में we are not actually targeting the quality of the drug. The best quality of the drug will also give rise to that side effect. So
that's toxicity. That's
toxicity. So that's more to do with physician awareness and other things. वो academic domain है. Administrative domain वो है when the ADRs are happening because of quality aspects. So I hope I have answered most of your questions.
Okay, from the audience now we'll take some questions.
Whatever he said, exactly, it is true. At the national level, there are quickly, I would like to share two examples. Whatever the data, reporting, you have asked very rightly how to report. But when it comes to IPC, what are the benefits to the hospital or institutions, that I would like to share with two examples. So one is related to medicine and one is related to medical devices. Like propofol, you might be aware of the propofol use. Actually, this was the incident, the adverse event, lack of efficacy. There was no effect of anesthesia, was reported by 3 different hospitals from the Tamil Nadu, government hospitals. And then the same batch was available in different parts of the country. Then we collected the batch related information, manufacturer details, and then we have asked the remaining hospital also. So just imagine, only 3 hospitals have reported around 37 cases of no effect of propofol. Then the similar batch was available in different parts of the country, and we communicated, we asked the remaining batch availability in the different hospital, but they could not able to report. As we all know, various reasons they have not reported. So immediately what we have done, we have coordinated with the state drug control department that the batches of the available batches in the remaining hospitals were withdrawn or were stopped for the use. So this is the way it was benefited other hospitals to identify the lack of efficacy reports. And then the hospitals, those who have reported, those hospitals also took action on the particular procurement supply, etc. This is one thing. So it is benefiting the hospital as well in terms of
make it quick.
Yeah. And another one related to device. Recent example I'm sharing with you. I don't want to name the company, one of the manufacturer of syringes. There were number of complaints about the syringe available in different parts of the country. And now we took an action, and those reports are collected, we submitted to regulator, and some of the state regulator, they have blacklisted the company because of the quality related issue. So that is why this is not only signal, it is also going to help you in identifying ensuring the quality of the products. Thank you very much.
Yeah, any questions from the audience? Please go ahead.
Good morning. This is Dr. Seema Patrikar from Department of Community Medicine. I've just got one comment and one question. I'm also the PI of the HTA Resource Center at AFMC here. So I just wanted the audience to know that we have now the Armed Forces Medical Services Health Technology Assessment Resource Center. So all the technologies in the armed forces goes through a formal health technology assessment part of it. We are also DHR sanctioned, ICMR sanctioned HTA Resource Center. So now we are also the technical partner for ICMR and DHR on the HTA related devices and the technologies that comes into existence. One of the aspects that were being spoken was where you don't have the data. So HTA looks into the real world evidence, RWE, that's what we stress on. So the RWE is new evidence synthesis that needs to be taken care of in the medical devices also. And I have one question to the panelists, any one of you all can answer. We just wanted to know, there are so many, things which are placed. Do we calculate the